Welcome back to This Week, where we highlight real people with real stories stepping up to serve their communities. Today's guest is Jessica Maldonado, a registered nurse, faith leader, and first-generation immigrant whose life embodies the American dream. Born in Lima, Peru during political and economic turmoil, Jessica's family fled to California with nothing but hope. Her parents rebuilt their lives from minimum wage jobs and night school, teaching Jessica the values of hard work, resilience, faith, and gratitude. Because of their sacrifice, Jessica and her siblings rose to become college graduates, entrepreneurs, and homeowners, living proof of what America makes possible. Jessica spent more than 2 decades serving others around the world, from remote villages and orphanages to conflict zones and prisons, before realizing her mission field was right here at home in the South Bay. As a nurse, community leader, and lifelong resident, she's seen the challenges facing her neighbors: rising crime, struggling schools, families priced out, and seniors left behind. Now she's running for state assembly in District 66 to fight for public safety, strong schools, affordable housing, parental rights, compassionate homelessness solutions, and an immigration system that honors both the law and human dignity. Jessica isn't a politician. She's a servant, a neighbor, and a builder of the California dream. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you for having me, Dennis.
Thank you for coming down. So tell me, how did you... trying to figure out where to start, because you're doing so much. You've done so much. So, well, let's start with your, your volunteering efforts, your charity efforts. How did that come about?
Well, that's an interesting question. I had a dream when I was 5 years old. And I think a lot of people don't get to live out their dreams. I'm living out my dream.
Yeah.
I was 5 years old. I lived in Peru. And my father asked me, he said, "Honey, what would you like to do when you grow up?" And I literally, like a lot of children do, I looked up at heaven, like we look at the sky, right? We're like daydreaming. Yeah. I look at the sky and I had this vision as a child, or you can call it daydreaming. And I saw me in Africa. And wow. I was kneeling down on one knee, dressed with safari clothing, with my hair long up in a ponytail, and I looked like a grown adult. And I was healing little African children. And I saw children with crutches with like tree branches and like rags as bandages, open sores, wound. And I was healing them. And so I told my father that I wanted to be a healer, that I wanted to be a doctor, because that's the only words that I had to describe. How does a 5-year-old kid say to their dad, "I'm changing bandages of injured children. Yeah. I'm in this village seeing this African children as far as the eye can see, and I'm touching them and I'm making them better." Well, years went by and I became a registered nurse. And the same year that I graduated from nursing school is the same year that I went on my first mission trip, internationally. I went to Africa. I've been to the Amazon. I've been to China, to India, to Pakistan. I've been to so many nations throughout the world for the last almost 30 years.
Wow.
Not only preaching the gospel, sharing the good news of God, but doing works of compassion, sending kids to college, working with local leaders, whether it be pastors or governmental leaders, to help to improve the quality of life for their for their own communities.
Yeah.
And part of that has been visiting hospitals, spending time with nurses, which has been one of the things that I've loved so much, is to support people that are in other countries doing the best they can, not having the resources to make a substantial difference. So I've been in villages. I've slept on the dirt and in tents, in sleeping bags, not always in nice hotels. For the most part, I don't look for nice hotels. I look to be with the people, to understand what they're going through. And I like to be there and just to be part of the bringing solutions to those problems.
Is there, from going to so many different countries, is there a through line in that poverty or anything any social aspect that you see throughout all of them?
Well, one of the things that I see is that there's a lot of lovely people in the world, and that we are all connected. We all have the same basic needs. Children always come up and say, "Mama, pray for me." And I'm like, "Pray for what, honey?" He says, "Pray for my brain." And when the children first said that to me, I had no idea what that meant.
It's so strange. My brain?
Pray for my brain.
Wow.
And then I understood when I asked some of the, their parents and other elders of the villages, they would say, children want to learn. They want to go to school. Education is not free. They're hungry. They're tired. They're poor. and they have no means to go to school. And when they do get to school, they're hungry, they have a hard time learning.
Yeah.
So education is so important to me. My father always taught me that I should educate myself because it would open up opportunities for my future. And I believe that education is huge for children around the world. We take it for granted that we have free education. A lot of children throughout the world do not have free education.
Yeah. So going around the world, doing all this missionary type work, how did you end up falling into politics, or what brought you into politics?
Wow. As I was mentioning earlier before we started this, was that I would always dream about getting on an airplane and going to the poorest of the poor throughout the world where nobody else wanted to go. That's been my heart's motto, to be there with the poor and help in any way I can. From feeding programs, like literally putting a bowl of rice on a kid, to give a kid something to eat in villages where they literally have nothing, where they're starving. Also, we did a water well in Turkana in northern Kenya during the time where it was a severe drought. And after going to the nations for so many years, I began to have dreams about America. And I thought, why am I dreaming about America? And as I looked around, I realized that the very same issues that I've been helping with in other nations with local leaders and pastors and whatnot have come home. Here we have the poor. Here we have the drug addict. Here we have the orphans. Here we have even children in America that are not getting a good education, right? They're going to school. They're coming out illiterate. They cannot read. They cannot write. They cannot do basic arithmetic. It's like, what is happening to our nation? What is happening to our children? What is happening to our economy, where we are giving so many resources to people and we're keeping them in welfare? We're not empowering people to come out to get a job, right? We're not providing jobs. It's like our businesses are leaving our country. There's so many issues in this nation. But the love of America, I came here when I was 12 years old. I was born in South America. And as you mentioned, my bio, we fled a country that was a socialist nation, borderline communism, because I remember as a little girl that there were Russian pilots training Peruvian pilots how to fly Russian airplanes in Peru.
Wow.
I was in one of those Antonov airplanes. As a child, I was in one of those airplanes flying from the city Lima to the Amazon jungle because my family was in the military. I have family in government in Peru. I come from a family of politicians. My grandfather, great-grandfather, my great-grandfather from my mother's side. And little did I know that I would find myself in America, growing up here. I've been here 46 years, the majority of my life, falling in love with this country, becoming an American patriot, being so grateful to be in a country where I have free education, at least from K to 12, right?
Yeah.
And very affordable. During the time, college was very affordable for me. I was able to work and pay my way through college, to be able to have my American dream, to have my home, to have my career, to live in a place where I felt that we're safe, right? But things are changing. America is not the America I grew up with. The American dream is not within reach for most people today. I mean, my nephews and nieces, by God's grace, have been able to buy their homes as well, but with the help of their parents. I did not have my parents help me buy my home. I worked hard and I bought my home. But for my nephews and nieces, they worked hard and they couldn't buy a home.
Yeah.
So they needed their parents to help them buy a home. And so not everyone has that blessing to have their parents help them buy a home.
Yeah.
So what is happening to our country? And I feel like from traveling to other nations for so many years to help, my mission field is here. This is home. You have to take care of home first. I believe in California first. I believe in the South Bay first. I believe in America first, because you cannot take care of other people when you're not taking care of your own family.
What do you think happened to America?
Oh my goodness. I hate to say that, but I believe that there's a lot of corruption. The same thing that you see in third world countries. And this comes to mind, a lot of people come from third world countries. I came as a child, right? But some people come as adults already with a mindset of what it's like to live in third world countries. And then they come to this country, and instead of embracing the American dream like my family did, like your family did, like a lot of people do, there's people that come to this country and they do not embrace the American culture. They don't embrace the American dream. They always have that mindset of, I'm a foreigner. As opposed to saying, I'm a proud American. They say, I'm a foreigner. And they began to bring the mindset of third world country and want to change this nation into the very nations that they fled from. But we also see, and so we see also there are our own politicians, there's so much corruption. It's like, where does the money go? Why do we have homelessness problems when there's billions of dollars allocated to America, to California each year? Why are kids not being educated when we have billions of dollars also allocated to education, right? It makes no sense, the problems that we're having, because the money is there. But yet we're not seeing the results of where the money is going.
And I mean, I've seen a lot of reports. A lot of it in California goes to NGOs. It goes to people who are friendly with Newsom, and you're as somebody who's running for you're running for state assembly, right?
Yes.
How would you fix that issue specifically? How do we stop that? I would say a crony. It's like a form of crony philanthropy, right? There's crony capitalism, but this is like crony philanthropism. I don't know. Philanthropy. Yeah, crony philanthropy,
Like many people say, you have to follow the money. We have to hold people accountable. There needs to be full accountability, transparency where the money is going. No more hidden agendas. No more using our money to filter it out for all those indoctrination programs. I mean, I don't even know how else to say it, not to say more,
Yeah.
It needs to go to where it was allocated to do. As an assembly person, we get to be part of making those decisions where money is allocated. And our job is also to follow through to see that they've actually utilized that money towards, for instance, education. Part of what assembly does is the school curriculum, what we teach our children, is determined by assembly members.
Yeah.
We know what our kids are being taught today, and that's coming from that assembly house right there.
Yeah.
So we need to clean up that assembly house. We need to appoint the right people to the right offices to make the right decisions that actually care about the children, right? To educate them and not indoctrinate them. And so we get to determine the curriculum. We get to also allocate the funds to the school districts and the counties. And then we actually get to follow up to make sure that the children are being trained or taught what we said that they will be taught, that the money is being spent for the children and not into other programs that were not part of the approved curriculum.
Yeah, there's a serious issue. The whole state assembly, it's been dominated by Democrats for so long, and the vast majority of them are just activists. You have people like Scott Wiener they have no practical real world experience. They just have this agenda, things that they want to implement. And how do we, as Republicans, how do we break that? We have a lot of great people right now there, but how do we break the supermajority? How do you see us breaking it?
Well, I think one of the issues that we have with Republicans or conservatives, because it's that we're very passive. We're very, very passive. We grumble, we complain, we stay home, and we just disillusion with the system, right? Like a lot of people said, forget it. I'm just not going to vote.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that their voice is their vote, right? That they need to vote for someone, whether they like them or not. It's like you have to pick the best person that most accurately represents your values. Sometimes the people that are running, you're not fully aligned with them. But if you have two candidates and you don't like either one, you have to choose someone.
Yeah.
You cannot not vote because other people are going to vote. And I think what happens with Republicans or with conservatives is, and I keep using this, Republicans or conservatives, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I find personally right now that the Republican Party doesn't fully represent me.
Oh, okay. And why is that?
You probably were not expecting that.
Yeah, why is that?
You're probably not expecting that. I am a Republican, but I'm what Republicans used to mean.
Okay.
Which was a person that really cared about our nation, that believed in America first, that believed in our constitutional core values of who we are as Americans, right? A true patriot. I love this nation. I care for our children. I think that we need to protect the vulnerable, right? Whether the unborn, we have to protect those in the womb. We have to protect those outside of the womb. We have to protect our seniors. We have to protect our women, right? It's our job to protect our people.
Yeah.
And I believe that the California, and I'm not talking the American Republican Party, but I'm talking about the California Republican Party. It's not in alignment right now with who we are as Republicans as a nation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of people have crossed over from the Democratic Party because they have been unhappy with the Democratic Party. There's been a walk-away movement, which I think is great.
Mm-hmm.
But we're having a lot of these people that are not really fully Republican either, that have come into the party now. And now we are watered down as a party.
Yeah.
I see a lot of rhinos in our party. I see people that are trying to turn the red party purple or maybe even blue. And I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, I see it happen too. This is a conversation that happens in a lot of the circles that you hear at different CRA meetings or different, a lot of people share that vision. What specifically do you see as being compromised? Is it principles? Is it coalition building? Where specifically do you see that happening?
I can talk about several things there, but even in our last convention, we had elections there.
You're talking state or county?
State. At our state convention, a GOP California state convention, we voted, not me, but the party itself, the majority voted not to support voter ID. They voted not to support Trump. So they're pulling away from being conservatives to being what they're calling themselves moderates. But I don't think they're really that moderate. I think they're more like liberals hiding under a title saying, I'm moderate. And I think, I don't know what's going to happen with our party.
Yeah.
I hope and pray that we find our footing again, and then we go back to the right side where we were. And what I mean by the right side is not being just not being extremists. I don't believe that we ought to be extremists, but I do believe that conservatives, the word conservatism means something.
Yeah.
And we're trying to change the meaning of the word to be more accepting of values that do not define conservative.
That vote, did it happen on the last day? Because I didn't go on that last
Yes.
day. Oh, wow. That's surprising. You're actually the first person to mention that to me because I didn't go on that last day. I know, I was there at the convention for the first, I think, 2-3 days. But yeah, I didn't go. I should have gone that last day to see that because honestly, it's so common sense that we need voter ID. I don't understand. It's almost like as a party, it's like we're trying to commit collective suicide.
Absolutely.
Voter ID.
Absolutely.
And supporting Trump, it's, he's the head of the executive nationally.
That's right.
Agree or disagree with him. I support Trump. I voted for Trump. There's certain things that I don't match up like 100% with him, but I'm like, he's the man for the job and he's getting it done. And I don't know as a party how we can, move forward and win back this state if we don't support the president. There's such a huge contingent of MAGA in California. So it's just strange. It's so bizarre. Sometimes, I think you wonder who's really at the wheel.
You do wonder who's really at the wheel. And it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next year or so. Even just in 2027, when we vote in new leaders for the GOP, it'll be very interesting to see. Another thing that I also find really challenging as a grassroots candidate, right, is trying to find the support of your party. You find yourself running on your own. Yeah. And I know you're smiling because you understand. Yeah. And I have my own experience I can share, of course, but also as I've been running my race, I've been meeting a lot of candidates that are not supported by the party. And candidates, not like myself running for the first time, because I'm running for the first time, but candidates that have run 2 or 3 times that had lost the elections last time by such a small margin that you can tell that they are solid, they're strong, their experience is seasoned, they've got the core values, and they can bring the change that we are crying out to see, that the community, the people want to see. And yet, instead of the party supporting this grassroots, they're raising up other people to run against their own.
Yeah.
So that in itself tells me there's something going on here.
Yeah.
And we have to stay true to who we are.
Yeah.
I don't compromise. I know my core values as a little girl, as a faith, as a Christian that I am. I was raised Catholic. I'm a little more on the loose side of my Christianity now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I am still a faith, believing, God-fearing woman. And for me, my core values are what defines me. I've had people say to me, you should separate your faith from your candidacy, from your race. I cannot do that because I'll be lying.
Yeah.
I will not be authentic to who I am. It is because I am a Christian that I believe in doing the right thing. It is because I'm a Christian that I will not compromise, that I will not bend. I'm not for sale.
Yeah, that's great.
I cannot be manipulated. I cannot be bought. I won't be. I start my day in prayer. And everything that I do it with a heart conviction that I'm here as a servant of the people. I do not serve myself. I'm not doing this for a title. I'm not doing this for recognition. I'm doing this because I really love the people. I've been traveling to the nations to care for the poor in other nations because I care about human beings and men or women alike, old and young alike, whether I agree with their values or whether I don't agree with their values, whether they're of my faith or they're not of my faith, it makes no difference to me. I love people, period. And I'm here to serve and protect all people. And that's who I am.
Yeah. Well, that's great. It's just bad advice when people tell you that. Yeah, I think politics in general would benefit the more authentic people are. And I think people knowing that what your faith is, if you have a faith, if you don't, it makes more transparent and it helps them understand, what your values and principles are. I think it makes it abundantly clear if you're a Christian, what you stand for and what you stand against. So, I'm also Christian. I'm Catholic. I grew up Catholic, still Catholic. So I totally relate. And, I don't try to hide it at all. I think if more Christians who are running for office or thinking about getting involved in politics stood in their faith, I think it would help strengthen a lot of our community. I mean, I think I've been going to a lot of churches over the weekends and meeting different, people. There's a huge contingent of voters in the Christian community that haven't been engaged.
Right.
And I think that in order to, flip the state and have the red wave that people talk about, we need to bring out Christians. And if they don't see people like them in government, they're never going to come out.
Right. You're right. You mentioned about what will it take, right, to turn the state around? What will it take to change the votes? It's like Republicans are not voting. They're not showing up. Not only, a lot of them show up mainly for presidential elections, but now the elections that are coming in 2026, they're not presidential elections, but yet we need their votes. And I think that people don't understand how important it is that they vote at all elections, right? Local, state, federal. What's happening in the church also, a lot of conservatives are not showing up to the polls because they don't believe that some of the candidates that are running represent them. We need to vote. Republicans need to vote. Faith, people need to vote. All people need to show up to the vote. To vote, it's so important that the results of the elections genuinely represent the people. Yeah, leaders are not there to represent themselves. We're here to represent people, and so your vote is going to determine who takes that seat. Exactly. Right, and who speaks on your behalf.
Yeah. And it's interesting because for so long, Christians, we've been, first off, so many of us kind of abdicated the responsibility of voting and just allowed these people who, like you said, don't represent our interests to get in there and effectively repeal our principles from the core of this country, right? To a greater extent, now we're even seeing people who are specifically targeting. Before it was like an unspoken thing, but now there are people who are specifically targeting our beliefs and principles. I think it's more important than ever to get involved, right? And I do see a lot of pastors running for office. I see a lot of them getting involved. There's Cheon, who's running for governor. There's a few other ones running for local offices. So it's inspiring. I do think we're at the beginning of something, you know.
We are definitely at the beginning of something. I think people are fed up. We see this mass movement happening right now with our youth and our young voters as a result of our martyr. That was, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
His life was taken. He was murdered. We know he was murdered.
Yeah.
And why? Because he spoke truth. And this is a country where we have freedom of speech. We've had freedom of speech. But right now, it's like people are afraid to speak. But now we see Charlie Kirk's life been taken. And now there's a mass movement of young people that are saying we will not be silent.
Yeah.
It's like they feel empowered, right? And we live in such exciting times right now to see our youth being activated, and our young adults saying we have a voice, we need to speak up. And I think that we're going to see a big change happening in politics over the next few years, because these young people are going to rise and they're going to run for office, and they're going to create a movement that is going to just transform this nation. And I believe we're going to go back, not back in time in a sense, because you can't reverse time. But I believe what I mean back is going back to the core values of how this nation was originally founded, is our faith. And I remember that Charlie had mentioned in one of his videos that I saw that there's multitudes of young men going back to the church, especially the Catholic Church, which I found so wonderful, because I was raised Catholic. I went to an all-girls Catholic school as a little girl in South America.
Nice.
And then I went to a co-ed Catholic school, junior high here in Hermosa Beach for a time as well. And it's structured.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why they're going to the Catholic Church is because of structure. And that's one of the things that we've lost in this country is we just, whatever. It's like the whatever culture just kind of came and anything goes. Well, no, anything doesn't go.
Yeah.
You can't just do anything.
Yeah.
But they're throwing out all their values, all their morals, and we don't listen to our parents. The disrespect, the dishonor, just a whole crazy chaos. And with all the mental health issues that we're having, and I think a lot of that comes because people had lost their way, and we are a country that we need God.
Yeah.
Not to sound religious, because God never really wanted us to have religion. He wants us to have a relationship with Him. But the thing about Catholicism is structure, and young people are longing for structure.
Yeah.
They're longing to have those boundaries that when we're teenagers, when our parents give us that, even though we fight them, then we realize that we were so blessed to have parents that loved us enough to say no.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to see what's going to happen. And this is a season for young people, young adults, to go to the polls and vote. And I pray that they will vote well. But I think that Charlie Kirk has powerfully impacted not only our nation, but the world.
And what do you think about the escalating violence that's coming from their side, from the left side, right? It seems like, it's last year, Trump got there were 2 assassination attempts, and then this year they started the year by burning Teslas and blowing up dealerships, and then they killed Charlie, and now the question is how much more are they going to escalate? What do you think?
Well, empowering our police, law and order is so necessary. We have some mayors that want to do away with law and order.
Yeah.
Right. And that makes us vulnerable. We need to hire more policemen and women. We need to, empower our law enforcement, to give them the tools that they need to do their job, but also to not remove their power, because I think that's one of the things that Newsom has done, that Mayor Bass has done. Is like they pull the rug from under them. They're there ready to do the job. The firefighters are ready, they're ready to do their job. There's no water. They tell them to stand back. Excuse me, there's a fire going on.
Yeah.
Houses, families, communities are being destroyed right now, and you're telling them stand back. There's what's going on here.
Yeah.
And also defunding our police. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Taking away our guns. Excuse me. What about the right to bear arms?
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy going on, and this all part of restoring our nation, restoring those boundaries, restoring law and order. And do I think that there's going to be more of that? There's surely going to be more attempts. I do believe there's going to be more attempts. But the very reason why we should speak up, the very reason why we should not be silent, They're being funded by the left. Why? Because they want to continue to keep people in fear. They want to continue to silence the American people. But we need to not be silenced. We need to speak up. And unfortunately, that's part of what happens. Charlie was martyred, and I don't want to speak doom and gloom over our nation. I hope it's not true. I hope we don't have more people lose their lives. But there's definitely a risk and a potential that could happen to some of us because we speak up. But the very reason why we should speak up the more. So again, I support our military, I support our armed forces, and I believe we need to put the right people in office so we can bring back safety to our streets, our communities, even our schools, right? Our children need to be protected. We've seen a lot of those mass shootings have been happening throughout our nation for a while now. And that is because there's just too much crazy going on. And we need to bring some order back into our country.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like it's a very calculated effort to have this kind of disorder and chaos so that they can justify expanding their power, the Democrats specifically. And I speak specifically about the state because they've had control of it for so long. I did want to touch on a topic that was just a big topic for the last couple of months. And when you're in the state assembly, you'll be able to address this, but we just went through Prop 50 that was redistricting the whole state. Democrats said that it was going to be a temporary thing for the next 3 election cycles. A lot of common sense people are saying, no, it's just going to be permanent. How did you see Prop 50 play out? What were your thoughts on the results? And what do you think is a way that we can, mitigate the effects?
Well, again, we don't go to the polls.
Yeah.
We lose because we don't speak up. We lose because we don't vote. And it's just a sign there again that we did not step up to stop that. But you know what? It's just wrong that they will draw lines using race, right? Our race or our ethnic backgrounds in order to gain votes. Is the Democrats, the liberals, trying to silence the voices of the conservatives, silence the voices of those that are family focused, silence the voices of those that believe in our core values, of those Republicans that are genuine Republicans, right? And yes, that was Gavin Newsom trying to say, stick it to Trump and say, no, you don't get to do this, right? But I think that the way forward is to continue to vote. Our voter ID initiative is coming right now. We want to add that to the ballots, and we need to pass that through. Yeah. Right. And I believe that we need to get that on the ballots, and we need to pass that moving forward. And that's our next step forward. It's making sure that U.S. citizens vote and not illegal aliens. We have such a mass influx, as you know, of millions, if not billions, of people that have come into our country because of open borders. And I think the Democrats allow that to happen because they want to give them free housing, free education, free everything, right? Yeah. Our tax dollars are going to fund illegal aliens that are not voting. They're not paying taxes. And if they can ensure that we do not pass the voter ID initiative, that these people can vote. Because they don't have to show a form of ID. They don't even have to show that they're U.S. citizens. Voting is a privilege, right? Being a U.S. citizen is also a privilege, especially when you become naturalized, right? When you have your green card, that's a privilege that can be revoked. When you become a naturalized U.S. citizen, that can be revoked. People think that they have a right and they can just come and do what they want. They cannot. The right of a citizen is to vote. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you do not have the right to vote. So the way forward is to pass that initiative that only U.S. citizens can vote. And I think that as we do that, it's going to genuinely reflect the voices of the people and whether this state is truly blue, red, or purple.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head. I think that once we have that, it'll clear out a lot of the issues that we have around the state in local races. And I think also cleaning up the voter rolls and all the all the dead people that are in there that get ballots.
And people's pets that are voting.
People's pets. Yeah, I heard that too. There was a golden retriever that voted. It's just crazy to think about that. There was also, I think, if we cut the mail-in ballots down to right now, it's what, like 2 months before the race. It just feels like they keep extending it because they know that with ballot harvesting, they can control the outcome of the race, right? So I think in-person voting, something like a voter ID, which is beyond like just a signature, because I went, the last time I went to vote, they didn't ask me for anything. And they didn't even verify my signature. It could have been anybody with my name, and
that's right.
Got in there and just signed whatever.
I pulled my ID to show, and oh yeah, no, it's okay. What's your name?
It was the same, yeah, same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. So I agree. When we have voter ID passed and people have to show a form of ID, that's going to do away with all the mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
And you have to vote in person. And can I tell you, you probably already know that third world countries do that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You literally have to show not only that you have a driver's license, because illegal aliens can have driver's licenses too.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are getting real IDs, and I have no idea how they're getting around to doing that.
Yeah.
But you have to show proof, right, that you are a citizen of that nation in order to cast your vote. Mm-hmm. And I think it is just shocking that in America we would not have to show a form of ID in order to vote.
Well, it's calculated, and it's also bizarre because for anything else, even when you go to the DMV, in order to get your driver's license, you need like 3 different forms of identification. To get a passport, same thing. To open a bank account, it should be, if you need if you are on the street and you need a driver's license to be able to drive, you should also need one to vote. If you're,
to board an airplane. And it's unbelievable. That's just basic common sense. Where did our common sense go in America? We're gaining it back. Yeah. We're going to get it back.
We're getting it back. So tell me, as far as your district, what are some issues? What areas does your district cover, and what are some of the issues there?
So the cities in my district are south of Los Angeles Airport. So it's El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Gardena, Redondo Beach, Torrance, Lomita, Palos Verdes, Rancho Palos Verdes, Rolling Hills Estates, San Pedro.
Wow, it's a beautiful area.
It is a beautiful area.
I'm blessed to live there. Campaign over there because you just go to these beautiful, just by the beach. It's great.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful community. I'm blessed to live there. I have lived there most of my life. Some of the issues that we have is crime. And I don't know that it's talked about enough, but I've gone to some of the city halls and some of the community city council meetings in Manhattan Beach and Redondo Beach and Torrance, and the same issue keeps coming up, crime.
Really?
And I keep hearing that there is different gangs, that there's Eastern gangs, Colombian gangs, and different groups of people. How interesting that they're talked about from the part of the world that they came from.
Yeah.
So did these people come from across the border? I don't know. Probably so, right?
Yeah.
They come and they're breaking into people's homes when you're there and when you're not there. That they're putting cameras in people's front lawns and they're watching your move to see when you're not there, ideally, so they can come in.
Yeah.
But sometimes some of these European gangs will come, and you're in your front lawn, they'll come and have a conversation with you and sort of just ask you questions. I'm a new neighbor, just moved down and, here in the community, and this is my name, so-and-so. Do you have any kids? I have kids. Look at my dog. Kind of just a regular conversation that you have with a new neighbor, while the rest of them are breaking in through the back door and emptying out your house.
That's crazy.
Yes. And this is happening a lot in the South Bay. And this is interesting because I personally have experienced almost near misses. I was at a friend's house literally just less than 2 or 3 months ago in Manhattan Beach in a really beautiful community. It was about 11:30, 12 o'clock. And we just finished having this ladies, tea, coffee time that we meet once or twice a month with some local friends. We've done this for years. We're trying to leave the house, and all of a sudden, as we open the front door, there's like all these cops outside say, "Ma'am, get back inside the house." And I'm like,
Wow.
what is going on? We close the door. We're trying to peek through the glass. There's cops up and down the street. Literally, the house right in front of us and the one to the right, it was being burglarized at that very moment.
Wow.
So we were in that house for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, waiting for all of this to
clear out.
Well, someone had put a little mini camera in the bushes in that house, watching their every move. And apparently they had broken into some of the other homes up and down that street for the last few months. This is in our beautiful community.
Yeah.
Now, the other day also, I was speaking at a women's event in a local church. And as we were leaving, about the same time, someone said, "Oh, there's a gunman at the corner at the ice cream shop." We're like, "Excuse me, get back inside the building," waiting for this to clear out. And I'm thinking, this is happening in my community. I didn't grow up seeing crime so like blatant on your face.
Prevalent,
it was something that you heard about, but not something that I caught myself being right around the corner where it was happening or 10 feet away.
Yeah.
This is happening today. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's happening in North Hollywood too. I lived there for a while. I went to North Hollywood, Studio City, Toluca Lake. I was living in Toluca Lake, and I went to a meeting with the LAPD, and they talked about exactly that. They're robbing in the middle of the day. They'll just in broad daylight. The difference, though, is that it seems as though in your district the police are actually going out and doing something about it. In North Hollywood, unfortunately, because their whole department's been decimated, so they actually don't go out. There was one guy at one of these meetings that I went to. He said he followed for 4 hours. He called as soon as he saw that his home had been burglarized. He got there just after it was done, and the police said, "Well, we can't be out there right now." So he stayed on the phone with him. He had a tracker on his car because they stole his car too on the way out. Wow. So he followed his car for 4 hours and he was tracking them. And he's like, "Guys, these guys, I see them." And they're like, "We just don't have anybody to send out there." Apparently, the one mistake that these guys who robbed this house did was they made it to Van Nuys. Once they crossed into Van Nuys, he called the different police department and they were there in 5 minutes.
Come on.
So it's unfortunate because it's a compounding problem. It's first there wasn't any enforcement. They made they lowered the punishment on crimes. They lowered a lot of felonies to misdemeanors and misdemeanors into like non-crimes, I guess. And then our police force has just been decimated to such a degree that in some instances they can't even show up to help. So
right.
We need reform like up and down with all of this. It makes me think as far as affordability. How is affordability in that area? Are people struggling with the cost of living?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I have friends that are leaving California, and I've seen this throughout my lifetime. There's time, there's these years where people start exiting, taking their businesses, selling their homes, or just moving because they can't afford to pay the rent. And I've seen this. This has been happening for the last 10, 12 years. Also, I literally know about 12 families that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Business owners, a majority of them, small business owners that have left and have taken their businesses, sold their homes, and have moved to Tennessee, Texas, other places. Yes, I think one of the problems that we have today is affordability for our homes, but even just basic, even more basic than that. People can't buy groceries. They can't put food on the table. They can't pay their bills. The electrical bills are ridiculous, out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just getting creamed with all these taxes, tax this, tax that. It's ridiculous what's happening in California. There's so much corruption. And someone is making themselves really, really rich, and the rest of us are like just barely making ends meet.
Yeah.
So we definitely have that problem with people, affordability, just basic affordability. And then the rent also, we have this major developers, right? That are mandating, the state is mandating, the county is mandating that each city builds all this multi-unit apartment complexes.
They're doing that there too.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place. Luckily, I think that there's a little bit of room as far as where they build them, but they're mandating that it gets built nevertheless.
Yeah.
I'm driving around my communities and I'm seeing all this massive constructions happening. And the one that is done and they're populated, what's going to happen with our traffic? Where in the world are they going to park?
Yeah.
These kids are going to go to school. Our schools are going to be flooded. Everything is going to be just so stressed and under so much pressure. But the interesting thing is these developers are, who knows who they're partnering with and how they're getting through the state, all this massive saying this, these are low income housing. There's nothing low income about these homes. They build them and they rent them for more than what people are paying right now.
Yeah.
So the poor are not moving into this low income housing, right? Someone is making tons of money. They're becoming millionaires at the expense of our quality of life, and our residential communities are becoming another downtown LA.
Yeah.
They're taking from us. They're robbing from us, living in peaceful communities and bringing this mass traffic into our residential areas. And it's just a horrendous disservice to the people. They're not listening to the voices of our community. They're mandating that these things get built. There's plenty of land in California that is unbuilt, that they can build all these brand new communities as they have, as we've expanded. If you look at the map of California, what's happened over the last 10, 20 years, we've built tons of new, beautiful, beautiful communities, right?
Yeah.
That are fully populated. Why can we not continue to build in some of those other areas that are not built and build those amazing, beautiful communities for these people?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. There's so much land. They could just expand east. They could go north. I think, though, for a lot of the people behind this sort of policy, for them, they're interested in increasing their tax base.
That's right.
Just pack as many people into this district or this area so we can get more tax money out of them. And it comes out to the money, unfortunately. And that's, to a greater extent, the affordable housing, like you're saying, which isn't really affordable. It's all paid at our expense.
It is not affordable at all.
Yeah. It's a grift, and it's unfortunate. Yeah. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for coming by. This has been a great conversation. I think that the people in your district are fortunate to have somebody like you.
Thank you.
Who you have real world practical experience serving people, and you've always put them ahead. I think this is one thing that I talk about, the difference between people running as Republicans. I assume you're running as a Republican, even though there's a thing with the
yes,
party.
I am.
Yeah. So, the difference between Republican candidates and Democrat candidates, Democrats are all activists.
That's right.
None of them have ever done anything outside of just, they've never had jobs, businesses, don't own anything. They've never volunteered. You will never see them volunteering anywhere. But on our side, we have business owners. We have people who have committed their lives to missionary work like yourself. And I think the people in your district are very fortunate to have somebody who's for service, running for office. So thank you so much for running. And as somebody who's also running, I say it takes courage to do that and put yourself out there. So thank you for doing that. And if you want to take a moment and look into that camera really quick and just tell people how they can find you, how they can donate to you, your website, your social media.
Thank you. So yes, go to my website for my campaign, JZ Maldonado, 4 Assembly 2026.com. And on social media, I am on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and recently in X as well. And I'm under JZ Maldonado.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
I hope you get elected. I really do. We need people like you in the state assembly more than ever.
Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the race.
I'll see you in the race. Thanks. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah.